Welcome to Cooking and Storing with Ann and Wayne. Today our video is going to be brief. We're just going to do a quick run through of how we clean our machine.
And to start with, for a cleaning solution we use 70% isopropyl alcohol. And I know that a lot of people use different solutions, and in the description we will have a link to another video that we felt like was very authoritative that will explain why you use 70% isopropyl as opposed to other cleaning solutions that some people may or may not use. And from that research, this is what we do. I would recommend you do your own research, make your own decisions. But anyway, let's move on with getting this thing cleaned up.
Okay, we like to wipe out our machine after every run.
Yep.
So we start by opening it up and taking the ring off.
All right, next we want to pull our tray out. So I generally don't just pull it out. I don't know, it's just me, but I always like to try to lift up just a little bit, because it is sliding on the inside of your vacuum chamber, so I like to just lift up a little bit. You can't lift up much, but a little bit. And I always slide it out, set it right here, and unhook the electrical connector. Just very gently pull it out. Make sure you don't mess up your rubber seal or anything. Now your tray is free. Sometimes I don't unplug it. Sometimes I do, but just depending on how thoroughly I want to clean it and that sort of thing. So we're going to clean the rack, we're going to clean the inside of the chamber, we're going to clean the door, we're going to clean the seal.
Okay, so my preference is microfiber cloths just because they don't leave any residual lint.
Yep.
Okay, let's put that over there out of the way. We just pour our alcohol directly onto our cloth and get it fairly wet.
I'm dripping a bunch.
Alcohol, is going to evaporate fairly rapidly.
But it will clean as well as sanitize the inside of your machine.
So I start just by wiping down the whole machine. I also do the cord.
Yep, wipe your cord off good.
Back panel.
Yeah, right now she's doing the wall, the back end wall. Don't forget that part. It's kind of hard to reach, but don't forget that part. Notice she's cleaning the outside of the ring here as well as the inside, because that's where your rubber seal goes. So you want to clean that as well. All right, now another thing we like to do, and we don't necessarily do this every time, but Ann, if you would close the vacuum drain valve, I'm going to pour some alcohol back here in the back at the drain hole. And just let that run down the drain line. And like I said, right now we have the drain valve closed. We'll set that or leave that in that hose while we're cleaning the rest of the tray and everything. And then we'll raise the hose up and let it run back and forth a little bit before we drain it out. But that helps to sanitize the inside of your drain line.
Don't forget to wipe the inside of your door really well too.
All right, you want to do the seal next or the trace?
Let's do the seal. Let's talk about that
Okay.
in just a minute. Okay, from what I have read, bacteria can easily grow in the groove that lets you fit this back onto your machine. So I like to periodically pour some alcohol into the groove.
Now, do you want to pour it in there, or do you want to use a Q-tip?
Just pour. I like to pour it in.
Okay.
That way it kind of runs around. There we go. And then I take a Q-tip and swab it back out. But we'll let that sit in there while we're cleaning the trays. The tray rack.
Right. I poured some alcohol in here for you,
You
but I
just pour it on here.
just pour that on there. You want some more on there?
It's still pretty wet.
Okay. All right.
And then we go over all the surfaces.
And I know it's hard to get inside of these the rack into the corners and stuff. And you know, we don't do a real thorough job every time, but most of the time we try to be careful to get into the corners, the nooks and crannies of the rack, because stuff can get into those nooks and crannies, and you do want to clean that as well.
And if you work from one side and do half and then move to the other side and do the other half, for me, I find that easier.
Yep. At this point, Ann has finished cleaning our rack and we're ready to slide it back in. But I want to show you a good tip to do occasionally. You don't have to do this all the time, especially if you don't disconnect the plug. But, and this is, I'm not necessarily promoting this brand, but this is WD-40 brand of contact cleaner. It's not regular WD-40. I want to make that real clear. This is contact cleaner for cleaning electrical contacts. And we'll take that, and unfortunately when we started today, our can's about empty. But we'll just spray a little bit in here on those contacts, spray a little bit in here, and that'll help to make sure that those contacts don't get corroded and cause you trouble in the future. But anyway, we'll do that. Then we'll plug the connector back in. Now, one thing that we have found that is important is to make sure your cable doesn't end up behind your rack in the back of the chamber. So what I do, I start it in here, but I pull my cable up, and then I carefully slide my rack in and pulling the wire with my other hand to make sure as much of that wire as I can get is on top of the racks so they don't get behind it and keep the rack from going all the way back. Now if you do that, you won't have trouble with your rubber seal not sealing good, because if that wire is behind your racks and your racks don't go back quite as far enough, your rubber seal can't get pushed in properly to seal good.
So now we're ready to clean the inside of our ring that goes, our seal that goes on the door.
Yeah, let me help you with that.
There we go. So we just take our Q-tip.
And remember, we put alcohol in that groove earlier, and we've been letting it sit.
And we just now are going to run our Q-tip around.
And it is kind of tight, but just take your time and work with it.
And dry it out. I was told that people that use it for, commercial use, like making candy and that kind of thing, that when the health department comes to inspect, the inside of this ring is one thing that they always look at, because it is notorious for growing bacteria.
All right.
All right, so.
And then you still want to wipe down the rest of it with your alcohol soaked rag. Ann's doing that now.
And one point that I would like to make is, if you're doing like eggs or raw meat of any kind, after those runs you really want to give it a thorough cleaning, because in the process things are aerosolized and bacteria, germs, whatever, can stick to the inside of your machine, to the tops of your tray rack and even onto your seal. Okay, I think we're ready to put the seal back on.
I think so.
And I always give the outside another quick wipe because anything that prevents your sealing ring from making good contact with your door
And you clean the inside of the door too.
will cause it not to form a good seal.
Yeah. And that has a lot to do with why we use the lint-free cloths. And you can buy those at a lot of places. We get ours at Harbor Freight, but it doesn't matter where you get them. Just don't use a paper towel or a normal bath towel or something of that nature, because the lint can give you trouble with your vacuum seal.
Okay, I think that's got it.
I think that's about it. And that's how we clean ours, a little, short and sweet. But also in the description, we will leave the link to another video that we found. It was a lot of our research, where the guy goes into a lot of the science behind why he uses the isopropyl alcohol as opposed to other products for cleaning the machine. I'm sure a lot of people have different ideas, and Ann and I, we recommend that you do your own research and make your own decisions. But that's part of that video, was part of what made us choose to buy the 70% isopropyl. So anyway, we'd just like to say thank you for visiting with Ann and Wayne here with Cooking and Storing, and we wish you a great day.